welcome back to Dingoes and Dice.
Sorry about that.
It's not the best start to the stream. Had some technical issues and one of our members' phone died, but we're here.
Hey.
Yay! Also, there may be an echo because I'm using a different microphone, so I apologise in advance about that.
She means a crappy one.
Well,
It's a reaction one
yeah.
that picks up everything.
Yes, it does.
So if a mouse farts 3 blocks away, you will hear it. In the meantime, I will whisper into our mic so it doesn't echo as much for you guys.
So, introducing the
And
group.
thus began Christopher's adventure into the realm of ASMR.
So,
I don't know what that
Hashtag
means.
Dream Chris.
so I am Natasha. I'm our druid. I like cheese. And
Best
joining-
intro yet.
Yeah. And joining me is.
I'm Bloodkitten. I'm playing Rathina, the crazed warlock, that decided to go and make a bit of a splash last stream.
Yes.
And she's tired now.
Exhausted.
Yup.
I'm Tiny, and I'm currently Googling ASMR in incognito mode on my internet, and it says it's autonomy, sensory, meridian response. I don't think I Googled the right thing. What was that thing?
Yeah,
ASMR?
autonomous sensory meridian response. It's basically those like quiet whispering ear to ear kind of stuff.
Right, okay, I did Google the right thing then. I thought it was a porn thing. Okay, that's good.
No, I have to stop myself before I correct you on that.
Alright, so I was already thinking in Tiny's mind. So I play Tiny, the paladin who's also a whoremonger, a drunkard, and is just randomly summoned around with 3 gorgeous ladies. That's him.
And Crystal, our cleric, played by Elena, who loves fire, is currently not with us right now due to some technical difficulties. We might be able to get her in through the second half of the stream, maybe not. Hopefully all goes well. But until then, she'll be shadowed by me, Crimson, who is the DM and currently playing Elena, and plays all the NPCs and the monsters, and builds the world and tells the story, and helps to guide these guys along whatever path it is that they choose to take.
Basically, he's our god for now.
Woo!
No, don't call me a god. That's beneath me.
And here I was about to say, you're so modest as well. Jeez.
See, normally I would say I'm no god. I'm just a man with power. But my brother has informed me that the gods are below me, and eventually it finally took hold.
Alright, we should do a recap for those who haven't joined us before. Thank you for tuning in the first time. For those who are returning, thank you for coming back. Crimson, do you want to do a quick recap of what happened last time?
Yes, certainly. So, where we left off is that the party had just recovered from a grueling and arduous battle with a group of cultists and a veteran who took several shots at Athena. They sustained heavy injuries, but were able to successfully navigate the encounter without dying themselves, taking out all the cultists and the veteran in the process. However, they did bed down for the night to recover their powers and their health, and then set off on the next day to find the raiders' camp, which they scouted out for several hours, finding out what was going on there as best as they could, and then, with the cover of night, they moved Crystal and Tobias, or Tiny, down to the southern end of the camp to start setting up boulders as subtly as setting up boulders can be done, to create a sort of distraction, whereas Rathina stayed up at the northern end with her raven and with Nana, who, using her druidic abilities, used her wild shape to turn into a rat. The raven then lowered her down into the camp, and she began sneaking around and picking up what information she could, and finding out about whatever she could, essentially, whilst in the camp, and came across the monk that they were sent to look for, Leosin or Lanthar, and ended up managing to free him from his binds. And in the process of them sneaking out of the camp, Rathina thought that Nana, being gone so long, should have had some sort of a signal by that point, and decided to make a distraction herself and collapse one of the guard towers, after which point Tiny and Crystal pushed the boulders and pushed them down onto what they believed to be the tent of several of the cultists, though it ended up being the tent of the prisoners.
Now, I would like to interject here, and I would like to note it on record that Tiny was very strongly against this idea and wanted to put the rocks down onto the command tent, but was forced to do it on top of the prisoners. He is innocent.
Who forced you?
That was Rathina. Rathina wanted to kill the innocents, not Tiny. He is innocent in this endeavor.
None of us knew whether they were inhabited by innocents, cultists, guards, or dogs.
Also, you could have said
So,
and you could have not pushed the boulders.
Nope, Tiny was just following orders like a good little soldier. He is innocent.
Since when do you follow orders from anybody?
Rathina was scary. She had the blood craze look in her eye.
That's
I've seen what she...
day.
I know, but I've seen what she does to the people that get on the wrong side of her. I'm not going to mess with her. Sorry. Anyway, you can continue.
As soon as I remember where I was. Anyway.
Boulders.
Rathina killing innocents.
Yes. That's not where I was. Tobias. Anyways. Boulders fell, crushed the prisoners. Tiny ran off and took some pot shot with his new heavy crossbow, barely managing to get off said pot shot, which was more of a just drop to the ground and fire, because that thing is freaking massive.
Yeah, it is.
To a gnome, anyway. And then continued running away. As with the newfound cover of chaos, Rathina managed to sneak away, and Nana, in her rat form, and Leosin managed to escape the camp, all of them sprinting back with the commotion behind them as the horns to sound the alarm started blaring in the distance, and the splintering of wood of the collapsing guard tower gave them the cover they needed to escape. They all made their way quickly and tirelessly back to the location where they had previously set up camp, where the rear guard had ambushed them. All of them collapsing. Rathina getting a bit turned around and having to run for a bit longer than the others. All of them coming back exhausted, tired. Rathina more so. And that is where we pick up this session.
okay. That went smoothly.
Yes.
I say while laying on my stomach. Pretty much.
So we're camped out on the side of the hill at the moment, I take it?
I heard George Lucas. Who else heard George Lucas? I think she's trying to speak rat.
No, that would be more like. If it came
Come on,
to
do
me.
you rat impersonation? And by that, I just mean you can just do your normal squeal. That'd be fine. Pretty much, yeah.
That rat sounded like it's having so much fun.
So.
Or dying, whichever you prefer.
Ugh.
I roll to my side and I go and try again. That went better than expected. I'm glad that we were able to pull it off. Even if a little improvisation went ahead.
Tiny looks over at Rathina and goes, "What happened to not attacking, huh? Keeping all the fun to yourself."
It wasn't an attack. It was an improvised signal.
Uh-huh. Are we finished our rest, or were you just about to start it?
Just about to start it.
Alright. Because Tiny is still pretty okay, he didn't really get too tired. He's got like 1 point of exhaustion. He'll take the first and the last watch. So the other guys can get as much rest as possible. He doesn't need too much he only needs a short rest, not a long one. He didn't use any spells or didn't take any hits.
Well,
Okay.
I'll take the second watch then. As exhausted as I am.
You should probably take both rests. That's why I'm taking the second one, so you don't have to, because you're super exhausted right now.
Fair enough.
So how long are you guys resting?
Do you guys want to do a long or a short? How are you guys looking?
Well, we may want to go and keep it as a short one, and then when we're further away, go and take an actual long rest.
Yeah.
How are you looking for spell slots, Rissa?
I'm good, but
Alright, no.
spell slots I'm okay with. I won't get my wild shape back until long rest, I believe.
Alright. Well, let's do just a short rest then. I'll take watch, and then we'll head off.
Okay.
All right.
And I just go and fall asleep into the dirt where I'm too.
Myself and Crystal will take watches as well.
While they're all asleep, Arnie is going to get some charcoal from the campsite from down below, and he's going to draw a dick on the side of Rathina's face while she's passed out.
Why?
Okay.
Because she's completely passed out.
You're so immature.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Make a stealth check.
Oh, good. Come on, Tiny. Don't let me down. Hell yeah.
Roll again. Disadvantage.
Oh, but they're asleep, though. Jeez.
You're gonna be drawing on her face though.
All right. Lavina, I'll say make a perception check with disadvantage because you are asleep.
Okay. Advantage.
Fuck.
Oh,
Nat 20.
1! A natural 20 and a 1. Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she is very tired. She does not seem to stir as you clank up next to her. Make
Clank,
a sleight
clank,
of hand. I'll have you make a sleight of hand check. And now, oh, right, you have a point of exhaustion, so I'll have you make I would say this is with advantage because it's against your face, but you have disadvantage from exhaustion, so that makes it a flat roll. So, Radina, make another perception check. Tiny, make a sleight of hand check.
Really?
No.
Really?
Alright, let me check if he has to do disadvantage as well. Because if I remember correctly, everyone has at least 1 point of exhaustion.
I do, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I believe we do.
Rathina has 2, I have, and everyone else has 1.
This is an ability check, yeah, so this is with disadvantage, unfortunately. Tiny,
Okay, let's go again.
get higher than a 9.
Oh
Really?
my
The dice gods want it to happen.
In an unseen moment of seemingly divine favor, you focus on the vengeance of getting her back for blowing her cover and feeling that you've been wronged by doing such. You find stillness in your fingers almost unnaturally as you create your masterpiece upon her face.
You should have let me attack as well. I'm still all the fun for yourself. You earned that one.
You did attack as well.
Yeah, but that's only because she started, and I was like, well, geez, I wanted to do a proper attack. Anyway. God, where are these rolls when I actually want to steal shit? God damn it.
The whole point of life is that you never get to do what you want.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the dice.
Alright, cool. Should we switch over them up? Show everyone where we are, what we're doing?
Alright, so you said this is a short rest?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I won't get my wild shape back, will I?
Alright, so about an hour or so passes. Tobias, I'll have you make me a perception check with disadvantage.
Yep. Cannot find anything at the moment. Not one. God damn it.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You cannot find anything at the moment.
You used up all your good rolls already.
Yeah, I did. God damn it.
You keep trying to remain vigilant, but you keep finding yourself distracted at the masterwork you have created and just keep looking at it. Your eyes keep getting drawn back to it as you try to keep going with it. Oh, wait, the left, the right. There's a dick on her face. Just chuckling to yourself.
Legend. Hell yeah. Totally worth it. If we're all gonna die.
So you are very much distracted for the duration of this rest. An hour later, everyone comes to.
No one say a word. She has no idea.
Unless someone chooses to. Ursula's looked at Rathina in sighs.
I pull my face up out of the dirt. I slowly get myself to actually move a bit.
Alright, as they see them all on there, Tiny tries to hurry and rush them along so they don't have enough time to wander around it. Half because he doesn't want Athena to realise what's on his face and wants her to stick around with it a little bit more, but also because there's going to be a giant patrol coming soon and we should get the hell out while we can. Oh, and Monkman. How's Monkman looking? Is he okay? I should have healed him before.
He is very tired.
Is he looking like he might need some healing at all? Or is he just tired?
He hasn't eaten in 3 days.
We should give him some food.
Yeah, I'll give him some food to help him on there, and I'll say, look, you can have a proper rest once we get somewhere safe. But for now, we've got to move, buddy.
Yeah, and he'll gratefully accept one of the rations and just kind of very weakly just kind of munch on it as you all progress along.
And while this is all going on, I get my raven to go up 80 feet and go and keep an eye out.
Eyes in the sky, alright?
Yep.
As per usual. Alright, so, heading on back towards town.
Yeah.
Okay, who's leading the charge?
Tiny, of course. Little tiny wall shield.
I'll be right behind Tiny, as usual.
Alright.
I'll bring up the rear.
Crystal behind me.
Right.
Oh, and Leosin.
Alright.
Have Leosin behind me, then Crystal.
Okay. Alright then. Tiny, survival check with disadvantage, please.
Yep. Survival. Come on, dice gods, don't let me down. Ah, damn it. Was an 18.
Ah.
You start walking for about 2 hours, and then come to the realization you have no idea where the path is.
Oh no.
Tiny, are you walking us in the right direction here?
Any direction's the right direction if you're walking.
Back to where we need to go.
Maybe the raven can scout out where we need to be.
No idea.
Can I see far enough through the raven to go and see where we need to go?
I'll have you make a perception check for the raven.
Okay. So
this one actually won't be with disadvantage.
Woo.
Good stuff. So it's just a standard.
Yeah, just roll a d20.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to see through all the cover of night and the trees and being 80 feet up in the air, but it is able to see that that the clearing that you came to before the rearguard clearing, where you just had your rest, is about 4.5 miles or so to the northwest of you.
Okay, I direct everyone to the direction of the clearing.
Because it's getting dark, and I know that how Nana's such a better lookout than I am, I tell her to keep her eyes out in case she sees anyone coming at us.
Do you want me to?
Shall we proceed?
If you'd like to.
Nana?
Yeah.
Annie? Shall we? Okay.
Never mind.
Doesn't seem to be anyone there. Yeah. I won't even make you roll disadvantage on that one because that's a 3.
Yeah. Sorry, I just realised I didn't roll as disadvantage.
Like way below the passive as well. Your rolls are worse than your passive. It's funny.
Shut up.
All right.
So should I go and lead?
You can if you like.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'll bring up the rear actually,
Okay.
because anyone tries to take us from behind. That is technically where all the bad guys are.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
swapping Tobias and Athena around?
Yes.
But everything
All right.
else the same.
Okay. Yeah. Athena, disadvantage survival check.
Okay. Seriously?
Okay. It does take you the better part of about 3 hours, but you do eventually get to the second clearing.
Okay. Does everyone else see the way now? So 3 hours, we're probably getting closer to dawn.
Yes, dawn is getting closer. The moon continues to move across the sky.
Well,
Should we continue or should we take another short rest?
Let's continue. Once we get to the town, we can rest. No safety there.
It's still a few hours away, but okay.
Continuing on to the town.
yeah.
Yeah.
gonna be a lot
can
of
take a
tumbling.
rest. How many hours was it? Sorry.
Hmm?
Still like most of the day, or not really?
Currently, it's middle of the night, very early morning.
All right, we might take I might spend a long rest here then. Get rid of our
Okay.
exhaustion. We're a fair bit away now. We made a fair bit of distance, plus all the wandering around and getting lost. So if we can't find us, the other guys can't find us.
Okay, if we're gonna take a long rest here, and this is gonna be sounding silly, but we're gonna go and sleep up in the trees. We're gonna tie ourselves on up there and rest.
I don't know if Leosin will be able to do that.
He kind of looks at you and says, I could give it a try. So long as the branches are low hanging.
Poor guy.
Well, we
Tiny
need to
looks
go
at
and
you guys.
we need to keep as hidden as possible so that they don't catch up to us.
Tiny looks at you and goes, I hate you guys. I shall find a shrubbery. I'll tie myself to that.
The part of the
Easily
reason that
enough,
I
you
said
find
tie-
there is quite easily a gnome-sized shrub further nearby.
I'm not going to get up into a tree. I am 3 foot tall.
We could always pull you up and then lower you afterwards.
They could dangle you from it like a tire swing.
I will dig a hole underneath the tree and bury myself under some leaves and stuff. I'm a rock gnome. I can sleep underground.
Okay.
Is that what you're actually going to try and do?
Yeah, I'm just going to cover myself in like tree branches and stuff and just sleep half buried in the ground somewhere.
You're going to try and dig under the tree.
Well, not under the tree, but in the ground somewhere, like not very obvious, like next to a rock or something, and then put a shrub on top of me so I look like I'm a plant.
Okay. Yeah, it takes you about an hour to dig out this hole.
Oh man.
Given
Alright,
that you
cool.
don't have a proper shovel, you end up using your sword for it, and it does not look the greatest.
That's okay, I've got a spare. Alright, cool. And that's where I'm going to kill up for the night. I will take the last watch.
I'll take the first one.
Okay.
Okay. I'll poke out for probably the second last watch because I think I'll have enough rest by that point.
Crystal will volunteer for the second watch then. Alright, so all of you are attempting to get up into the trees?
Yep.
Except for
Is
Tiny.
anyone giving aid to anyone else?
I'll help Leosin.
Can someone help put the shrubbery on my head, please?
I'll put the shrubbery there.
Thank you.
I also go and pile some dirt around the base. Kind of fill
Thank
it
you.
in a bit more.
Thank you.
Bury him alive.
I was just thinking she's making a grave for him.
Essentially, yes.
A grave
mean,
with the built-in funeral bouquet. A bouquet
And
of
I
sticks.
find a small rock to go and be a headstone.
Perfect, there you go. No one's going to be digging up a grave to be looking for me.
But anyways, after that, I climb up into one of the taller trees, and I tie myself in.
Okay. I'll say, Nana, roll me a d20 for Leosin,
Yeah.
and then I'll need everyone to make an athletics check with disadvantage.
Except for Tiny, I take it.
Yeah. Except for Tiny.
Couldn't get up there even if I tried.
Please.
Disadvantage, yeah.
Seriously?
Crystal takes about half an hour to get up there, but she does get up there.
Woo. Oh wait, no, bad. I looked at the 12, thought that's not too bad.
Larissa, you help Leosin up. He gets up easy enough, but you cannot manage to quite reach the branches. And by the time you finally do, you're just too tired to pull yourself up.
Aww. Pity I can't turn into a monkey and climb up.
Can Tiny see this and try and throw her up, then go back to his position?
You're only in the dirt.
I know, but I can still see. I've got little eye holes in it.
Yeah, if you would like to offer aid to her, then you can.
All right. Athletics.
Yes, that'll be her athletics now without disadvantage.
Oh, so I roll
Alright.
athletics.
Oh,
And while
Oh,
this is going
fair,
along,
fair.
I have to go and find a hole in a tree that might go and work out better than me trying to climb up into it.
Okay, you can't even build up the strength to reach up for it.
Yeah. That's why I'm like, yep, let's just find a hole in one of the trees.
I'm going to go back to my little hole.
So you're looking for a hole in one of the trees big enough to fit you?
Yeah, one that's probably close to the base of the tree. Because
Okay.
I'm not gonna help me.
Can I give blood a hand as well to try and get up there?
If
We already
you'd like to.
married you.
Yeah, I will. So come on,
Okay.
bud.
If
Okay.
you'd like, you can make another athletics check.
Okay. A flat roll?
Yep, flat roll.
Oh no. Wow.
There you
Okay.
go. Here you guys,
Now
walking
I'm-
all over me, literally.
Yeah, all you needed was the step stool.
And then Tiny
then
goes
alright.
back to his little hole.
Yes, yes, and Tiny goes back to his hole. And now that you've all made it into the trees, I'll need all of you to make sleight of hand checks with disadvantage to tie yourselves in appropriately.
Okay. Seriously? Seriously?
You end up dropping your rope.
Oh no. What's with all the
Okay.
rolls today?
Do you have a spare rope?
I think it was just the one in the Explorer's Pack that I have.
Just the one.
God damn it.
Okay,
This is not
but
going to
I do have
Oh.
but I do have extra daggers. So I go and get them, and I peg them into the tree so that their feet rests, and then I go and try to knock myself into place in the kind of the branching spot for the
For half a second there, I thought you were just gonna stab yourself and impale yourself to the tree. Just go. This will keep me safe. Never expected.
As part of this, Tiny, really annoying now, he has to get up for a third time out of his little hole, gets up, goes over, picks up the damn rope, throws it up to him and tells him to stop leaving the shit around the place, otherwise people would notice that there's freaking rope flying all over the ground. And,
Thank you. Attempt number 2.
and now Tiny's just going to wait until they're all settled before he gets back in his bloody hole.
Okay. Nana.
Attempt number 2. Disadvantage.
Yep. Still need attempt number 1 from Nana.
For sleight of hand.
Ah, yes.
Yep, sleight of
Yeah,
hand
finally.
disadvantage. And does Crystal need a hand before you do tie yourself?
She doesn't. She's too tired to even tie the knot. She just wraps it around herself a bunch.
Okay.
And Nana just gives it like a very, very basic knot. It's clearly very loose, but the effort was there.
Tiny's shaking his head going, well, this is the night we're all going to die. And going back into his hole again to try and get some sleep.
Okay.
Bloody kids and freaking
Alright.
these days on the freaking lawn, fucking shit everywhere.
Grumpy gnome.
Yes, I'm tired, exhausted.
Real are.
Yeah. Grumpy gnome. Where's the other 6?
I'm all over at the moment.
Yeah, certainly seem a bit dopey.
Yes. Actually, with my intel, yeah, my intel wisdom isn't very high.
Don't seem very bashful though.
No, definitely not. Actually, that's the one I smothered in your sleep.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
even though
very
you're
happy.
paladin. Yeah, even though you're a paladin, I doubt you went to medical school. So
No,
there's no
I
way you're
did.
doc.
I did, just not the very useful kind.
Yeah, he studied to be a gynecologist.
Yes,
Oh, jeez.
pretty much.
They
Moving
kicked him out for
along.
obvious reasons. And that's why he's a vengeance paladin.
Yes, that's the whole story. All right, cool. Are we going to spend the night then? Do you need me to roll anything for Tiny?
I'll have you roll a perception check for your watch with disadvantage.
All right. He's going to fall asleep again. Swear to God. Yeah.
No,
Bit
you
hard to
stay
see on the
awake.
ground.
No, you do manage to stay awake. Barely. Like, you're able to stay awake, though there are several moments where you just seem very distracted by the leaves of the shrubbery tickling your nose.
Also, I'm half buried, so it was a bit hard to see outside.
Yeah, that is a bit of a problem. Alright, I will need both Crystal and Nana to roll a d20.
Yeah. Sorry, clicking wrong things on my keyboard. There we go. Oh god. That's not good.
Okay. Crystal gets up for her watch. Does not seem to be any problems. Then gets up for hers, no problems. Nana, you are awakened for your watch, and it almost seems like you wake up and you have the strangest headache, and it almost seems like you're flying. And then you realize that you're not dead whole, but you're
Yay.
upside down.
Oh no.
You slipped off the branch, but they're not held, though it twisted the rope. You were being held by the waist upside down to this tree. Just waking up, wondering to yourself, how?
Whose idea was it to sleep in trees? Bloody oath.
Oh no. Am I that high above the ground?
You're about 10 foot up.
I'll see if I can pull myself back up onto the tree branch.
Sorry, what?
I'll try and pull myself back up onto the tree branch.
Okay. God, what would this be?
Strength?
Wouldn't it be athletics?
Or athletics?
I mean, it would be athletics to pull herself back up onto the tree, yes, but to pull herself back up onto the tree without coming loose from the rope.
I
Wouldn't
can
that
see
be
this about it.
Acrobatics.
athletics plus sleight of hand?
Or probably just acrobatics.
Yeah, I'd say make an athletics and an acrobatics check.
Disadvantage or flat?
Very disadvantaged, considering you've been asleep for 6 hours upside down.
Good point. I might not have spent the whole 6 hours upside down. That's not too bad. Acrobatics.
Can't
Can
hear
you
you,
be
Lisa.
athletics?
Disadvantage. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, you do fall out of the rope as you're trying to grab for the branch.
No!
You do manage to catch the branch and pull yourself up onto there. A little bit of an adrenaline rush. You are now very awake for your watch.
Yeah!
As the blood begins to flow back down into the rest of your body and you begin to get a little lightheaded.
Ugh.
But you but you do manage to stay up for the rest of your watch.
Let's go to the trees, I said. It'll be a fantastic idea. We won't nearly kill ourselves and hang ourselves in our sleep.
It was fantastic for me. Okay. I'll have Christopher roll me a d20, please.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Yep. And the sun does begin to rise, Nana, as your watch comes to a close.
Yeah.
And you all have gained the benefits of a long rest.
Yeah.
You dropped 1 point of exhaustion. Rithina, however, still has 1.
Yep.
Because she attained 2 in the last encounter.
Barney's going to spend a couple minutes in the morning picking out the worms and the dirt out of his armor.
Okay.
He's going to contemplate wearing the shrubbery as a hat, though, as active camouflage.
So is my hit dice restored since it's been a long rest?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anything weird on the last stretch of watches? Tiny?
Yeah, there was this really weird looking bug. It was like green and blue and yellow and a little bit of orange. No idea what it was. Tasted weird though.
What did I tell you about drinking while on watch?
I wasn't. I was eating a bug. It was bitter. Tasted like ants.
Never mind.
Oh, besides that, nah, nothing. I had this weird dream about a freaking upside down tree with horns growing out of it. No idea.
Anyways, I slowly, once I wake up, at this point, made myself a little more awake. I slowly go and start untying myself from the tree and climb down.
Okay. So you're able to get yourselves out of the trees fairly easily, much more easily than you were able to get them into the trees in your tired states.
Okay. Do we know our way from this point, Tiny? Nana?
Barney points to that direction. I don't know, that way?
Okay, Nana.
Hold on. Yeah, that direction. He picks a random direction and points. No idea.
I think you may need to send your Raven up again.
Raven, you know what to do. Go up. Oh, is that a perception check again?
Yeah, go for it.
While he does that, Tiny's going to keep a lookout at the bottom to see if anyone's found out their campsite. Perception check on the ground.
Okay.
You
They're
found a
looking for
tree.
bugs. Guys, there's trees here. They're like everywhere. And there's a hole over here. Looks like someone slept here tonight.
Yeah, the bird is able to see the town in the distance, several miles away.
Woo.
Okay.
God, my guy's bad rolls.
Let's head
See,
off.
told you wasted all your luck in the beginning.
I know, right?
Yep.
Let's
Totally
head
worth
off.
All right, so you all begin on your way again.
I guess I'll be taking the front since I'm still
Yeah, I'll be at the back.
exhausted and you're taking the rear.
Yeah, I'll take the rear in case they come up from behind.
Okay.
I'll be
Survival
behind.
again?
Yeah.
All right, just roll survival disadvantage, Ravina.
Maybe I should have gotten a friend.
Would probably be a good idea, actually.
Oh,
It's not too bad.
Oh, not too bad.
10. Okay, yeah. The path seems a bit different. You make a couple of turns, but then you're quickly able to correct yourself. Like, oh no, sorry, other left, right this way. Yep. It takes you about an hour longer, but you do manage to get back to town by about mid-afternoon.
okay. Well, we definitely gonna have to make sure we eat in something before we make it through to the town, because honestly, with all the exhaustion and the hubbub, I think we forgot to actually eat.
We should go talk to the commander first and let him know, because we really pissed them off, and they might be coming in force to the town. We should probably give them a
And
heads
we
up.
have someone with us that hasn't exactly eaten in a while.
Oh, he can eat while we talk to him. The commander gives us some food there. I'm pretty sure he won't mind.
We should find Nessun as well, so Leoson's friend.
Well, we'll
Yeah.
eat while we move. We won't go and be stopping someplace to eat.
Yeah, we'll go to the commander and he can give us food while we debrief him, I'm pretty sure. Let's head straight to there.
Mm-hmm. So you're heading to the keep.
Yeah. Well, you guys want to head there?
Yeah, we'll need to sooner or later.
Okay. Yeah. So you all managed to make your way back to the keep, hailing to the guards who open up the gates for you. A bit wary of the new face with you, but after explaining things, seem trusting enough. If a little bit wary, just keeping an eye on him.
While we go through the gates as well, I tell one of the guards to keep an eye out towards the camp. We might have some unexpected visitors on their way.
Mm-hmm. They're a little bit apprehensive at the statement, but they do keep a few guards on the lookout there.
Just make sure that the thing is, we don't know whether or not they spotted us during this, but because we did have the cover of night to help us.
Yeah.
So it may be that they go and think that some random individuals caused some panic or mischief or some such element. So,
Better to be safe than sorry, though.
fair enough.
Okay. So you managed to make your way back to the keep. The governor, Tabron Nighthill, he's definitely looking a bit better. His arm is, the bandages have been changed. There seems to be a bit fewer of them now, and they've patched up his eye a bit. You can now see it. It's a bit swollen, a bit red, but no longer needs to be covered by bandages constantly. He's currently talking to a few guardsmen over inside the keep, and he hails you as you come back. It is good to see you all. I hope there was not much trouble. You all seem to look as if you've not slept in a fortnight.
Best to get inside and we'll talk. Because we don't
Yes,
know
of
if
course.
anyone has any of the cultists have eyes and ears outside of their camp. So
I would certainly hope not, but you're all right. Caution is to be had here. And He kind of looks over to the monk and says, "And who might your associate be?"
Tiny taps him on the shoulder and goes, "Oh, he's a monk."
He was
Can you
a
reach his
prisoner.
shoulder?
As far as we can tell, he was a prisoner from the camp. And he's been in a rough stretch from it.
Yes, and Leosin speaks up and says, "I'm Leosin Alantha. I will explain everything once we've gotten inside. We've all had it a bit rough, and pardon me for saying so, a bit out of turn, but if it's not too much trouble, I'm famished."
I dig out some of my dry rations and I hand him enough to go and at least get fed.
And
Yes,
I
indeed.
look at it, and Tiny says, "I'm sure the he points to the big guy in armor and goes, I'm sure he can think of something a little bit better than that."
What big
Russians.
guy?
General.
The general. Points to the general and says, "I'm pretty sure he can
He's
give me
not
something
here.
a bit-" No? Okay.
Yeah, he was just
Yeah,
talking to two regular guardsmen.
Well, the thing
Ah.
is, right now, he needs something inside of him. This is giving him something inside of him.
God damn it, Christopher!
I didn't say a word, he said
Let's
it.
just get inside. Please. Shut up.
Well, I'm sure you're needing something inside of you right now, but I don't think you would want that.
Oh, sweet Jesus, stop!
I didn't say
And I regret
word.
everything.
Alright, let's go in and let's have a banquet on behalf of the general.
Presumptuous of you.
As I walk past, I tell one of the guards, "Go grab some food and some wine."
Make a persuasion check.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I can do that.
Can you?
Maybe.
Kinda-ish?
He looks at you a bit peculiar look, just one of those like questioning looks, and then kind of looks back to the governor, who just kind of gives a half-hearted shrug, and he just kind of shrugs in response and kind of walks away without another word.
I mean, we saved them from a dragon. Friggin' some cheese and some wine's the least they can do.
They just got raided. They probably don't have cheese and wine.
Yeah.
Oh, there's always cheese and wine. There's always cheese and wine.
And the governor says to you, "I'm sure we have much to discuss, but you all look like you could use some rest and a bath by the smell of it."
Oh,
And
definitely.
retrospectively, you've realized that you have not bathed in probably what has been close to 4 days.
Yeah.
Uh,
I look around the court,
Yeah,
courtyard
Rodina's
of
hair is
the
starting to
fortress.
look as matted as her raven's feathers.
He better not be taking a dig at my freaking shrubbery hat. Meanwhile,
You're still wearing
Tiny
that?
looks over at the dick on Rathina's face and sniggers a little bit.
It's a bit smeared at this point, but if you
Yeah,
squint, it
still
still
there.
looks there.
Jeez.
I'll be right back. I'm going to this fortress, the sports well, if it has one, to get cleaned up.
Okay. They can, yeah, he'll point you to like a well where you can like wash your face off if that's what you're after.
Yeah.
Tobias says that well, as soon as though Crystal and I weren't really there for much of the combat, we were far away, we're going to get a proper cleanup, and I'm going to go to the bathhouse and see if Crystal wants to go as well. to get cleaned up. Separate baths, of course.
All right. And with that, we'll call a break.
Okay.
Okay.
How long? 10 minutes?
Sure.
Okay, we'll be back in 10 minutes then.
Yeah, hopefully with our cleric.
Yes, hopefully.
Okay.
Okay. And we're back. And we got the greenest map up. Woohoo!
Yes, we do. Because that's where we are now.
Yeah.
So, Tiny is heading off to the bathhouse to get himself cleaned up.
Yes.
Radina is going to fetch a pail of water to wash her face.
Well, it's mostly just to go and wake myself up a bit more, but a little bit of cleaning from that.
She doesn't know about my artwork yet.
Yeah, she doesn't. Nobody does. By the way, we now have our cleric back with us.
We
Yay!
did. Yay!
She came back!
You came back!
Oh, another thing you missed. I drew a dick on Rathina's face, and
I
she
was
has
getting
no
to
idea.
Yes.
I was getting to that.
You actually rolled really high rolls during that too, which was really sad.
Yep, the one time they let his antics succeed.
So that was,
Yeah.
2 days ago, basically, and she still has no idea she's got a smudged penis on the side of her head. She's got to find out sooner when she sees it in the reflection of the well, I'm sure.
Reminds me of a story, but I'll save it for later.
But anyways,
Oh,
after I
yes,
go and...
yes, so Larissa, Crystal, what are you guys doing? Crystal, you have been invited to go to the bathhouse with Tiny if you would wish.
I think I'll just wash my face like Rathina is for the time being. And get
I'm
a
done
bite to
with. I'm done. Yeah, I'm done with Nana.
Okay. Seems he's going stag.
That's perfectly fine. It means I get to have horse. I'm good.
So he turns from one bathhouse to the other bathhouse.
That was the only bathhouse I was actually going to go.
You well then. Alright, might as well get this one knocked out of the way real quickly. Alright. So to get yourself cleaned up and to procure some female accompaniment, or female company rather,
idea.
say it would run you 10 gold pieces.
I am going to sweet talk the bathhouse ladies.
You can certainly try. Go ahead.
Hey.
Hit me with your honeyed words, little man.
Hey, don't you know? I'm the adventurer. I'm the one that freaking single-handedly fought off that dragon that was here earlier.
Really?
And then I just took on you.
Because the way I remember it, it was assaulted by the entirety of the keep.
Oh, that's what they want you to think. Meanwhile, I was down there, absolutely kicking ass, taking aims, and just then took out an entire camp of cultists. I am an absolute bona fide badass, and I go on to tell them about my exploits and daring, charm, and amazing abilities.
Yes, well, your tails are certainly a lot taller than you, small one.
It's not the only thing.
I'm sure. Yes. Yes. 10 gold pieces, the price still stands.
Okay. That's good, fair enough.
So he takes the coin from you. Thank you. Enjoy.
Oh, you know I will.
Someday a pair of fine, lovely female companions come in and help get you washed up and other various things that need tending to that we will not speak about on screen.
Thank you.
Darn, it's
Sorry,
getting
Twitch.
Paladins need loving too.
Yes. And the ladies of the group, faces now washed, Radina now with a smeared black spot on like one side of her face. Looking almost like war paint now.
I scrub it off after whatever point I go and end up noticing it. Or do I end up noticing it?
Make a perception check. And I'll say that you can have this one flat.
Yay!
Yeah, as soon as you're about to wash your face, you notice what seems to be a very blurry phallic symbol across your cheek.
Tiny, we'll sleep at some point.
What makes you think it was me? It could have been anyone.
Who else would it be?
Tiny,
she doesn't
you
know.
will have
Let's
a
say she-
point where you will be asleep.
Maybe she doesn't know. Let's say she assumed.
Maybe. Could have been
Well,
Anna. We know what she's like.
I proceed
Never trust
to
the quiet ones.
scrub that off and...
By that logic, Crystal would be the most suspicious.
Oh, she is. let's give her a set of matches and see what happens.
Just gonna leave that one untouched entirely.
Yeah. She's secretly the evil one of the group.
I ain't opening that jerry can.
No, I opened that can.
That's kind of the point. Okay, moving on.
Yes.
Anyway,
Oh.
I scrub that off and then I make a mental note of I will be taking the last watch on the next occasion.
This is going to become a thing now.
So we're all
It
cleaned
could
up.
be.
You're, I mean, not bathed, but yeah, you definitely look a bit more presentable now.
Though with
Definitely
that,
a bit
I
more
go
awake.
and well, with that, I go and turn to both Nana and Crystal, and I say to them, "Go to the bathhouse, like get cleaned up, make yourselves as presentable as possible. I will be with you shortly."
Okay.
Don't you want to debrief with the general first?
You're not there.
We'll debrief after we've washed up.
Tiny thinks to himself, sternly in the bath. Gee, I really hope they are debriefing the general.
And
As he debriefs.
Yes, as I debrief.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
Oh man.
Perfect.
The timing was too perfect, I'm sorry.
and once Nana and Crystal decide whether they go there or not, I'd end up going slightly out of town just to the nearby river and clean myself up properly. Remember, I am an outsider. I generally go and keep to
In the
myself.
river, okay.
I guess Elena and I will go to the bathhouse then.
Yeah.
All right, yes, and yes, and the two of you also meet the well-groomed man at the counter, and the two of you meet
What?
the two of you see. You two go to a separate bathhouse,
Yes.
one that is solely a bathhouse.
Yes. That's what I meant. Yes.
Yes, not nearly as grandiose, but that's it. And then of similar groomings to the one that Tiny went on about his stories with.
Let's be honest, there's only really one type of bathhouse back in those days.
Maybe only one you care about.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so for about 6 gold pieces, they will allow you to use the facilities.
Cool. 6 gold pieces each?
6 gold pieces total.
Okay, cool.
You can share, boss.
Yes, it's 5 for adults, 3 for minors, but they're giving you a discount because you are disgusting.
Fair enough.
They could smell you coming in.
Aww.
And you smell like cheese.
Yeah.
So, 6 gold pieces expended then?
Yep.
Alright. Yes, and Ravina, I'll have you, just for the hell of it, roll me a d20.
D20. Oh no. This could be any
I'm
number
scared.
of things.
Okay, 11. Yeah, you make it down to the river without incident and find a section of the river that is covered in the shade of a nearby tree that you are able to hang your armor and other adornments upon, whilst you go about scrubbing yourself down.
Yep. I also go and keep my raven to go and be about 80 feet above me just to go and keep an eye out.
That raven never gets a chance to rest, does it?
It does. Whenever it's not doing that, it's basically resting on my shoulder.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking. Just seems like anytime that raven's brought up, it's flying somewhere. So, about an hour passes. All of you are bathed. One of you currently indisposed. Yeah, Tiny was clean and is now getting far dirtier.
Hell yeah. You know what I mean?
Keep going, I'll
Yes,
be back
yes,
in a
we
second.
do. Apparently, she does know what you mean, and she's getting out.
Well, once I'm clean, I go and go back to. Once I've cleaned up and dressed up and such, I go back to a spot that would be easily noticeable. That would be on the way from wherever the bathhouses are.
I'm back.
Alright, so right outside the keep then?
Yeah, probably for the best.
Alright. So, Crystal and Nana, you're able to soon enough meet up with Ravina, though
Yep.
you did not see her join you in the bathhouse.
No.
Tiny, I would like you to make me a Constitution saving throw, if you would, please.
Constitution.
I don't want to get an STI. God damn it.
13. Okay, good to know.
No STI for me.
I didn't say that. So, the three ladies have currently met up outside the keep.
Yep.
What do you wish to do?
Go check on Leosin? Where is Leosin?
Probably getting
He is
a meal.
inside the keep.
Okay.
And Tiny knows the way.
Yeah, we'll just head in without him. He'll catch up.
All right. So you head on in into the main chamber with the keep. You see Leos in there with a very empty plate in front of him, and And another plate underneath of that, with a pitcher of water next to him, just kind of arms on the table, just kind of groggily looking up as the door opens. Just, it's you. Thank you again for getting me out of there.
Return to living, I see.
Yes, I'm well on my way to recovery.
Good.
The governor says, yes, your friend here was just telling me of the time spent in their camp. Sorry that we did not send you there sooner. We might have gotten you out of there a bit earlier. It's fine. There was much to be gathered there in terms of information. My time there was well worth it.
Well, we should go over what we know from that night.
Mm-hmm.
So, Nana,
Yes.
well, because you're the only one that was able to gain information of our group, aside from the monk spending time in as a prisoner.
Yes, I overheard quite a few little tidbits of information while nomming on some cheese. So, heard a lot of mention about Tiamat and the Mother of Dragons, and it appears the group there, which is a lot of commoners, mercenaries, and some cultists, and some reptilian type beings, they're there hoarding loot for the Mother of Dragon, and there's some eggs.
Hmm.
You can see his eyes widen at that.
They seem to be growing a hoard of treasure for her and keeping her eggs there somewhere. And they got the prisoners working on something, but I didn't hear what they were working on.
So he turns to Leos and... Is this what you learned as well? For the most part, yes. There are other details, of course. Many other details. But that is the general idea. And if there are eggs there, as they say, though I did not get a look at them, they may require... what is the term for it? Dealing with? Yes, I have the same mind, but so soon after sending them out there's no time to rest. I understand. And I understand if downtime is, of course, needed for preparation. I myself will need a while before I am back at my best. There is much to be gained already from the information we know. Please, take a seat. I should share what I have learned as well.
Okay.
And he motions for you all to sit down.
Okay.
So you're all seated there?
Yep.
Yep.
And he goes on to tell you that not everyone that you saw there was a full-fledged member of the cult. I imagine that was quite clear, that, as many of them did not even wear the colors. From what I've gathered, when a cultist takes up the name of Tiamat upon themselves, they choose a dragon to align themselves with. Specifically, chromatic dragon, or at least the coloration. And the coloration adorns their robes in some way. They've been raging far and wide on small raids to collect treasure. Greenest, so it would seem, is the closest to their current camp. And their recent attacks have all been on towns smaller than Greenest, making it the largest. They're becoming more ambitious, or so it would seem. From what I saw of the prisoners, aside from myself, of course, they were used primarily for manual labor. Few of them converted to be loyal cultists. But most of them died from overworking and undernourishment. I believe I heard one of the cultists talking about feeding them to the drakes. Fortunately, I didn't see that for myself. And the cave to the back was off limits to all but a few specific people. I never caught the faces of those who went in or out, as I was faced away from it, but I did hear the name Mondath come up once or twice. And there was a man who I believe you described as reptilian, that I recognized as a half-dragon. Langdedrosa Cyanrath was his name. He appeared to be Mondath's right hand, from what I had overheard. And then the governor says, "Yes, we're familiar with him." "Really?" "Yes, he had a bit of a bout with the small one from this group, and he kind of gestures to you guys. First came into town. Well, at least you've had the displeasure."
I wouldn't exactly call it much of a duel, considering.
"Yes, well, he is formidable. He seems to follow a very strict code of honor, but he's not one to be made angry. He and the others seem to believe that the Mother of Dragons, as they called her, shall indeed return, and when that day comes, all the nations of the world shall tremble. The one who I find specific interest in is a name that I only heard once, and only in passing. It was quickly shushed out after the mention of it. A name of Resmir. It was under her orders that I was kept alive. I seem to be of some sort of special interest to her. I believe she may have known that my being captured was not at all unplanned. See, I intended to be caught. I wanted to be brought back to the base of operations. I was after information. I've been studying the cult of the dragon for quite some time now. I made my way to Greenus after figuring out that it was likely their next target, and that portion of my plan had worked reasonably well. However, my captivity was more brutal than expected, and though my mind and will are strong, my physical state did suffer.
So Greenus was actually just another in a line of places that they were just pillaging.
Yes. However, it is the most recent and the largest. So, who knows what might be next on that list?
Well, it may require us to go and investigate such possibilities, but we're not exactly a discreet group.
Discreet enough if I could be saved by a mere rat. And he kind of smiles at Nana.
Well, yes. She seems to be the best out of the group for such things. The rest of us seems to go and clunk along, some louder than others.
Well, if even one of us is able to keep ourselves around, quietly, then you might still stand a chance. It's at this point that Tiny walks in and joins you. A very wide grin upon his face.
I basically kept to the one side of the door so that I'm still involved in the conversation, but I'm being discreetly just listening.
Tiny walks in, looks around here, and smiles broadly and says, "Jeez, you look a little bit fresher, a little bit cleaner face."
And I just smile at him.
And then goes and stands in the other corner. Don't let me interrupt. Off you keep going.
Yes, well. Many of these cultists were actually the ones being sent out to gathering. They gathered antelope and large game from the grasslands to feed the camp. The cultists and their allies ate most of it, but some of it seemed to be stored in the caves. What they say of eggs is true, then there may be hatchlings in there. And if that is the case, then we need to put an end to them before it's too late. If they grow to be too large for that cave to hold them, and intelligent enough to think for themselves, or to be trained in obeying the orders of the cult, then it will be problematic for everyone involved.
Well,
they worship the mother of dragons, and who would a baby listen to more than its mother?
true.
The kobolds, of course, were there because they worshipped. Their worshipful attitude towards dragon made them easy prey. But it did not seem they were very well liked or trusted by any of the other races. Certainly not the cultists themselves.
Well, I'm more concerned about this Tiamat, whatever it is. Because you mentioned
Yes.
that this seems to be something that was mentioned quite a bit as you were looking through the place, correct, Nana?
That is correct. I heard them say, sort of, praise Tiamat. Praise Tiamat's glory. Used as a greeting.
Yes. Yes, it seems to be some sort of a salute of theirs. They worship her as a god, and she is one, for all intents and purposes. A goddess of evil.
This would be the first time Tiny heard that name. With his religious background, does he know of anyone claiming to be a god called Tiamat?
Make a religion check.
Oh, didn't have the proper windows open. Sorry, I was looking through my spells. Fuck, no. I never did pay attention to my studies.
No, you did not. Yeah. The Holy Order. You stopped at whole.
Yes. Those guys, you know the ones I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if my patron would know anything of this.
She would, as she's a goddess herself, but she gives you no sign. If you'd like, you can make a religion check, though.
Okay.
With disadvantage, because you are still exhausted.
Yeah, I know.
Aw.
What are these rolls?
The name seems familiar, but aside from the name, there's no specific memory triggering it. Leosin goes on to tell you, in the old legend, she's revered as the goddess of evil, and the mother and goddess of the chromatic dragons. Some say that she is merely a spirit. Others say that she is a boiling flame, crawling from the nine hells in whispers, that her strength is hidden. Others say that she takes the form of 5 great dragons, all merged into one. It's unclear. None seem to have properly seen what she looks like.
Well,
However,
that's...
she is known by the symbol of 5 vertical claw marks, occasionally by the head of a dragon. Much like most dragons, it seems she enjoys a horde or two. If they've been holding spoils from Greenest itself, I'd be willing to bet they were holding it in that cave. Though after what happened at the camp just the other night, I'm not sure that they'll be staying around there for much longer.
Though...
Which means we have an opportunity.
Wouldn't moving eggs or even hatchlings be a difficult task, even for such individuals?
Perhaps. Perhaps not.
Anya leaps forward a little bit of this and pays a little more attention.
The fewer allies they have, the better.
Well,
If those eggs are still there, I believe the best course of action is to destroy them.
the only question becomes, is will we need to go and kick the hornet's nest again to go and stir them enough so that they go and keep away from the eggs?
We may have kicked the hornet's nest very well as it is. We've currently squashed a few hornets.
Fair enough.
Tiny pipes forward and says, why don't we go in and try and dispose of these eggs while the guards from here create a distraction outside to draw their attention away?
The governor says, as helpful as that might be, I'm afraid that with you having kicked the hornet's nest, as the expression were, there is, of course, the ever-present chance that they may return here. We're still in the midst of repairs. I don't believe that we can effectively lend any guard to the cause at this time.
What about any of the local cities that were attacked by these guys as well? I know this was the bigger settlements, but would the others have any people they can put towards the fight?
Those would be days away. It would take almost a week just to get a message there and back.
And likely enough time for even half the camp to be moved by then.
Do you have any idea how many of them there were? If we knew their exact numbers, we might know how quickly and how efficiently they might be able to move.
At least 60, but then I ran out of toes to count.
Perhaps Leeson has more of an idea how many there were?
The governor gives Tiny a very queer look.
I rolled badly, that's all I could count.
And Nielsen says, well, he's not wrong in saying that there are more than 60, but there was, by my estimation, there seemed to be a bit more than 200. With a force like that, I wouldn't put it past them to pack up and go quickly.
Then
by this point, we'll have given them an entire day.
Perhaps we could use mounts to get back faster.
And also draw them to us if we were to do so. Or at least get us close enough so that we could go on foot the rest of the way.
Yes.
Well, returning there and investigating these eggs is certainly a very good priority to have. However, if they are in the process of moving themselves out of that place, I believe we should let them do it and not interfere.
Is there a chance that we might be able to slip in undetected, seeing as though there are those who are not in the cult? In all that chaos, we could try and disguise ourselves as one of the ones who have not fully become a cult.
Perhaps, if there are still stragglers behind. It is not for me to say. There are many unknown variables. And I feel I'm not in the right state to be of any help, should you choose to return. Pardon my saying so, but I was in fact put through quite a fair bit of hell.
Honestly, we've all been through a bit of hell as it stands.
Yes.
Some a little
Yes,
more
I know.
literally than others.
I imagine you have.
But either way, this is a danger that whether we address it here and now or down the road, it will be something that has to be addressed.
Well, I myself can see to my own well-being. In the meantime, I feel the best course of action will be to return there and deal with these eggs if we can. If the cult is there, stealth is an ally. If they are not, we may very well be able to waltz in the front door.
Okay.
Well, if it happens that the eggs are still not moved quite yet, would you happen to have oil that we could take? Use it to burn out the nest, as it were.
I believe that would be under the governor's jurisdiction. And he tells the governor and he kind of ponders it for a moment. Tapping his chin for a moment. I'll get in contact with my men and see what we can do.
Okay.
We also have crystal for fires too. We don't have any oil.
Hence why I asked for about oil. The flame is already ready. We just need something to go in at least go and help it out.
Yeah.
Well, I admire the attempt to burn out a flame with another stronger one. But I believe there is also a matter at hand that we must deal with. And at that point he kind of reaches down beside him and with several loud clang sounds he pulls out 4 small bags and pushes them towards you. The payment that you were all promised. 250 gold pieces. Each.
Thank you.
For services rendered.
Tiny Steps Forward says, well, we should be off then soon, shouldn't we? The longer we stand here and dilly-dally, the further they are, or more time they have to get ready to leave.
Are you quite certain that you don't wish to rest? Some of you still look rather tired.
I think we should have another long rest before we head out.
Most of our spell slots and all that are kind of refreshed from the bath.
Rathina's still exhausted.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. We'll spend the night and we'll leave first thing tomorrow morning.
Seems reasonable.
Have a good feed.
About the conversation of horses, do you have any mounts that we could take to get us there a little bit faster? Even if you send a man or two with us to take the horses back once we start on foot.
I believe we can try and make the arrangements, though I cannot promise anything. Nothing of grand warhorse status, but perhaps the local stable has a spare steed or two.
As long as it gets us there before sundown, that's fine.
I believe we can attempt to get something set there. We will do what we can.
Okay.
And then one last thing. Tiny kind of pulls out his sword he used for digging. That's kind of chipped and bent and not looking the best. About that armory, I might need a replacement. Is it off for sale or still open?
Certainly. I believe there's a whetstone or two in there you're more than welcome to.
Cool. Tiny nods and he'll head there once we finish.
If there's any other matters that you wish to discuss, that would be the time to present them.
Well, the places that Leosin mentioned, is there any maps to go and kind of look at to go and see the path from and probably go and plan out what direction they may be heading?
It would be difficult to say. Most settlements are so small that they hardly ever show up on the maps.
This is
They're
true.
mainly just known by the trade routes at this point.
It's still more than what we currently know, if we can at least get some bearing.
He looks to Leosin and turns to you. Says, "Once I'm a bit more rested, I'll have a look at where they've hit before. See if any kind of pattern meets up.
That would be most appreciated. Because
I'll let
obviously,
you know if I find anything out."
okay. So you're was it apprentice, disciple, something like that? Is probably
Yes.
waiting for you.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Mm.
I'll have to inform him as well.
He's probably really worried about you.
We'll head there very shortly then.
Yes.
Tiny looks towards the governor and says, before we head off then, the final thing we should probably talk about is payments. Obviously, we did receive payment for scouting, as we have, but taking on a camp and scouting a camp are two very different matters. We're obviously happy to help, do what we can do to assist this town, but if there's going to be life and limb risked, there should be equal compensation.
Well, we don't necessarily have to go and receive a payment.
Tiny kicks Rathina in the shin.
I am still
Make an
over
attack
by
roll.
the door. I'm still over by the door. You kind of dragged yourself over to them.
Okay. Christina, take a point of bludgeoning damage.
Trish. So, as I was saying,
Oh,
if we're
that's a
risking
long
life
sword
and
hit.
limb. It was with the sheath on and everything. After I showed him how dirty it was.
Oh,
I
well,
kinda
that's no
attacked him with
longer a
it.
kick then.
Or a kick then. Alright, that's a 15 then. If it's unarmed, I don't know how to do an unarmed attack.
Yeah, it would have hit. Her armor class is 12.
Alright. I kick her in the knee. So, if we're risking life and
What?
limb, we do need
Tiny?
adequate compensation.
As I was saying, we didn't necessarily need gold compensation. We could still be compensated in other ways.
We haven't mentioned gold yet.
Tiny.
I'll take Rathina's share.
Tiny.
Tiny's ignoring Rathina and looking at the governor.
I get my raven to go and start picking at Tiny's head.
I think we should go.
I will kill the raven.
I thank the governor, and I tap on Crystal's shoulder and say, I think we should go.
Tiny
Yeah,
takes
and I
one of
go
the
with
seats closer to the governor to start working out the deal.
Nielsen just kind of raises an eyebrow at them and looks at the governor. The governor just kind of gives him a bit of a concerned look, just like unsure of what he's gotten himself into. And Leosin just kind of gives him a very, very subtle nod and then turns to Tiny and says, 150 gold pieces each. I can offer that myself.
It was 250 just to scout. You now want us to walk into that den of thieves, and they know we're coming. 200 apiece, and you've got yourself a deal.
Make a persuasion roll.
Fuck. Damn it. That was your fault, Rathina, for the friggin' bird. Worth a shot.
Or it was your own greed's fault. Either way, that's a 1, boy.
Yep.
And I go and get my raven to return to my shoulder, and then I go and give it something to enjoy.
Gnome flesh. He doesn't seem fazed by your approach. He says to you, it may have been true that to infiltrate this place, the governor, not knowing the risks, gave you an ample amount of coin. However, we now know the risks. You're well informed. I've given you all the information I can, and armed you with that. And you've been there once before. You now know the way. You know there will be no one to hinder your progress to the camp itself. And I'm going to continue to aid you in future. Not to mention the fact that if they are leaving, as we expect they may be, then there will be far less opposition than the 200-something guards that were there previously. 150 gold pieces is the price that I can offer you currently, but that is what I am capable of currently paying.
Tiny sits there and stares at the drink and thinks for a second. 150 gold pieces. And your promise that you will help us further in other endeavors if it comes up. You have yourself a deal.
Yes, and he reaches out and shakes your hand. The grip's a bit weak, but there's a lot more strength to him there now than there was when he first hobbled out of that place.
And then Tiny perks up a little bit and says, well, we've got the rest of the night. Care for a drink or two?
Not quite yet. I appreciate the offer, but as your friend has stated, I should indeed find Nessim Malatra. Inform him that I'm alright. The governor certainly has arrangements to go about, seeing to the horses and such.
Okay, well, we'll be at that local tavern. We'll be here first thing at the crack of dawn to leave. I told him the tavern that we stayed at before, and that's where we'll be at again. And then we leave.
Alright.
Tiny stops by the armory again, obviously. Pick up the whetstones. While he's there, he's going to look at if there's any other weapons that might be like a +1 sword type thing.
Make an investigation check. Nothing seems to catch your eye.
Alright. I grab a couple of whetstones for the sword, and I replace the long sword with another one that's on the shelf that's already nice and shiny.
Okay. Sure.
I don't know how to fix it.
They told you about the whetstones, implying that the whetstone would be enough to fix the longsword, but not knowing what to do, you just like, these are the stones. I don't know what to do with them, so I'll just grab a new one.
I know how to sharpen, but I don't know how to really re-hone from the amount of damage it's taken. So I take a couple of stones to keep it sharp, and then I take just a new sword to replace the other one. They'll
All
never
right, then.
know.
Because this will never turn out bad.
All right.
That's fine.
All right. So you grab yourself a shiny new longsword, a couple of whetstones, then you rejoin the rest of the group. And with that, we will end tonight's session.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Well, thank you everyone for joining. That was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
I'm glad we got our cleric back for the second half of it.
Yes. She came back just enough time to have a bath. And that was it.
Well, it was a little less stressful than the last session.
Yes.
Although you nearly got your bird killed.
I almost died falling out of a tree.
Yes.
Again, I say, not as stressful.
No,
Yeah.
no. I wasn't.
Nana, even unconscious, couldn't help going into wild shape as she became Spider-Man. Or in this case, Spider-Mom.
Well, in the previous campaign, there was risk of me getting trodden on.
Yeah. Oh, in the previous session, yeah.
Yes. Today's session was good, even though there wasn't much action. It was still good.
Yeah. Not all the sessions have to be action.
Yeah.
We got gold.
Yes.
Yeah, you did. And quite a hefty sum of it. That's 1,000 gold in total.
So
Yeah, it was.
250, it's another 150 on top of that. Yeah.
Got us another 600 that figured apparently Ratina doesn't want. So I'm happy to take her share, as promised.
I never said that we weren't
No,
gonna,
too late. You said you didn't want it. That's fine. Your 150 gold is mine.
Or so you believe.
Remember, you
He's
rolled one.
He's welcome to think whatever he wants.
The thing is, you could have seen about compensation in the way of much better armor.
I hadn't even got to that yet. I had only just said compensation. And next minute you send a bird to attack me. And I'm like, well, apparently you don't want any cool armor and stuff.
No, the
No,
thing
see,
is,
what happened was you said that they required compensation, and then she started to say something to you, and then you just ran up and kicked her.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so in retaliation, she had her bird peck at your head.
Pet.
That's what the
Yeah.
that's what the governor saw.
Yes.
Yep.
He's like, doesn't matter.
That's not right, they know
we
what
will
it
be
is.
needing compensation. Well, Tiny, the thing is, kick.
Yes.
With what I was going on, we could have actually asked for even favors or something
Look
to
at
go
that.
and set us up for other adventures or whatnot. It's not if you get it to be, say, that equivalent in gold.
Yeah, well, Tiny already got about 10 gold worth of favors. I'm just saying.
Hell yeah, I did. Well, he did give us 150 gold plus a promise to help us in future endeavors as well.
And you don't think 150 gold pieces worth of other things wouldn't be worth going into?
Well, we never know. The town might not be here by the time we get back.
Uh,
Anyway,
It's true. You
we should-
never found out where that dragon went.
No. So might as well grab the gold while we can, or an offer of it anyway. We should probably end it there anyway.
Yes.
Crimson has to make some sleep sometime this month.
I mean, it's just started. I'd like to get it in early while I can.
Yes.
Yeah. Plus, I need to rest up if for when Blaze Blue comes out.
Yes.
ah.
Well,
That's all. Thank you everyone for joining.
yes, thank you everyone for joining, and for our new viewers as well. You're all amazing. Thank you.
You'll see you all
Yes,
next
and-
week.
And did I hear that that somebody sent some bits your way during this?
Yes, we have
Yes.
some kitties. Which thank you.
Yes. Well, a great congratulations there, and a great thank you to the donator.
Yes, that was.
That was Nobi-Wan Kenobi.
Everyone Kenobi.
Yes. Another fellow Aussie DM, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, may the dice be weighted in your favor.
I know. So
I don't know.
we'll see you
I'll
guys.
workshop it.
It was good.
That works. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
So everyone, thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.